there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Today I am playing along with Christy's Beautiful Life in her 30 Days of Sketches for the month of October. And this is, I believe, the 6th time that she's done it, and that's what that big 6 stands for. And this is the sketch that I am following today. So I went ahead and punched a whole bunch of 1-inch squares from a square punch that I have. And I just used a whole bunch of leftover paper from varying Chamel collections, and I just keep my scraps from that, and then from my previous layouts, and then I had little bits and pieces to work with. And in the sketch, I don't believe that the squares are 1 inch, but that is the punch that I had handy, so that's what I used. And I don't always have to keep everything straight, but when it comes to grids like this, I like them really straight, so I use my T-square ruler. And I don't make you sit through the entire thing. It's going to get sped up here in just a few moments, but I just wanted to show you kind of what my process was. I started out with everything on the white paper when I was picking out my papers, and then a lot of them had a light edge to them, so some light pinks and stuff in it. And so I decided to switch over to black and see if I liked it better, and lo and behold, I liked it a lot better. So I'm going to start transferring all of those little 1-inch squares on the right hand side over to the left hand side onto the black paper, and I just love how it comes out so much better. And I'm just using my ATG, putting a couple of swipes of tape on the back of each one, and here is my process all sped up, and I'm just kind of lining them up with my ruler, and I see that my gap at the top is going to be a lot more than the border on the left hand side. The bottom border matches the left hand side, and I apologize that you don't see that on screen. Trying to get these lined up, I had to pull the paper a lot closer to me to get kind of over it to see everything, and without getting my head in the shot, that it got cut off at the bottom, and I'm realizing that's happening more and more in my videos, so I'm trying to be more cognizant of it, so bear with me. You'll see a gap there at the bottom that has a black space, and I am leaving that gap there because that's where the photo's going. I don't really care if there is any squares underneath the photo because they're not going to show. So with the gap or the extra border at the top, I just trimmed it off to match the border at the bottom and the border at the left, and then I trimmed the right hand side down as well, and I'm going to mount it all onto a white piece of paper, and that helps so that I don't have to have exact measurements going for those squares to match up on each edge perfectly, if that makes any sense at all. You know, you can either run them all the way off the edge or keep them inside and then trim it down and then mount it onto something else. And that's what I chose to do. And this is just a piece of lined paper. It is thicker cardstock that is probably from one of the 6x8 Simple Stories collections, and it had like one of those pages that you insert in to your binder that has all the lines on it, and I just trimmed it down. And then I used my border punch that looks like note paper and punched that, and then I put a hole punch at the top because in the sketch that piece of paper has a hole at the top and there is some twine or ribbon or something in it, so I wanted to go ahead and mimic that as well. And there is a little bit of splatter in that sketch, so I wanted to go ahead and mimic that as well. And so I pulled out my Dilutions and my Heidi Swapp Color Shine. So the pink and the red are both the Dilutions. They're the shimmer sprays, and they are the smaller bottles, and they do have like that shimmery effect to them. And then the Heidi Swapp one is the yellow. And they all show up really well on that black. I was kind of doubtful that they would, but they did, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I would definitely recommend any of those products for using on black paper. Then I was just kind of measuring where I wanted that mixed media to end or to start, because I wanted to make sure that it was going to show above the paper. And then in the sketch there is this scalloped little border at the bottom of the photo and then one in the upper left hand corner, and so I'm trying to figure out which branding strip I want to use there. And the first time I punch it, actually I punch it on a separate one first, and I see that if I put the paper all the way in the punch as it's supposed to be, there's not a lot left once I punch it, because this is just a really narrow branding strip. So I kind of had to finagle it so that I could just barely see the paper past the little scallops in that punch, and then I kind of lined it up from there, so that gave me a little bit more paper left over on the scalloped side of it, so that I would have that to put on the paper. I don't know if that made sense at all, but if I were to stick the paper all the way in flush to the edge of the punch, it kind of cut right down the center of that strip, and so I kind of had to watch what I was doing so that I didn't split it in half, because there wouldn't have been much paper left to put on my layout. That's a better way to explain it. And then I am going to pop my photo up onto some foam just to give it a little bit more definition, and because it is a black and white photo, I don't want it to kind of get lost in all of that color. And the photo is of my grandson, and he's on the right hand side, and then my niece's little girl's on the left hand side. And what you can't see in this photo, off to each of the edges, their mommies are both diapering them at the same time, and the two kids are like reaching for each other, and it kind of just reminds me of that like Michelangelo on the ceiling with, you know, the hands reaching across. But anyway, I thought it was really super cute that they were like reaching for each other as they're getting their diapers changed. And so the title of my layout is going to be Diapered Duo, and my journaling is just going to talk about if they're already into these little antics, you know, at not even 2 years old. I can't wait to see how they're going to be as they get older. I did pop up those two scalloped pieces onto some foam tape. Now I'm looking for something to put in the hole at the top of that journaling tag there. And I thought I was going to use that orange, and actually I like the way it looks on screen here. But I don't know, I didn't really like it. It was a little too heavy for me when I was actually working on the layout. It just seemed a little heavy for the layout. And then I thought I'll go with something neutral, and I didn't really like the neutral either, so I decided to go with some pink and white baker's twine. And I know he's a boy, but you know what, I don't care if there's pink on it, and I don't think him or his mama care at all either. Actually, I know his mom doesn't care. And I thought the pink was a nice way to bring in the border strips there have little pink polka dots and turquoise polka dots, and so I thought, you know, it was a nice way to tie it all together. And you can see I tried several different kinds of fiber, and I just ended up liking this because it wasn't really heavy and it just tied everything together. Now I am going to go through my little box of dark pink embellishments, and yes, that is the box of dark pink, not light pink, because there are 2 boxes of light pink. There's so much pink in scrapbooking, it's crazy. I had to have 3 boxes. But I pulled out this little piece that says You and Me, and I know that is actually a Chamel embellishment from a while back, and this was before I would keep all my Chamel stuff together. So it ended up in this box, but it works great on this layout, and I think it kind of just adds to it. And then I pulled out some metal clips, and I'm going to definitely use one of those. Oh, right here I am making a little reinforcer to go around the hole in the journaling tag. And so what I did was I have a 5/8 punch, and that's that black one. So I took my hole punch, I punched a hole in the paper, and then the black punch is the 5/8 punch. So I then punched around that hole so I could see exactly where it was at and get it centered. And that worked out really well. I actually originally pulled out that box of pink embellishments looking for some pink reinforcements, but I couldn't find them, and so then the thought occurred to me, why don't I just make my own? I have all the stuff to do it. So that's what I did. I'm using these glittery thickers, and they have they're multicolor glitter on them, and I really like them, so they went really well. They've kind of got like a pinkish red tone to them, and even though they look black, they are black underneath. But I like the way they look. They brought all the colors together once again, so that made me very happy. And I'm going to add an exclamation point here. And I wanted to let you know, if you are watching Christy's Beautiful Life, you can check out all of the links down below and see all of the other ladies that are playing along today. And I'm going to be playing along throughout the month here and there. Christy is doing every day, and there are a lot of people playing along with her on varying days. So check my description box and check their description boxes on the days that you're watching, and you will be able to probably find all of the people playing along. There's people on Instagram and people on YouTube that are playing along, and it's a lot of fun. We're just using sketches that Christy has chosen for every day of the month, and I tend to stick very close to what the original sketch looks like, but you never know. I might mix it up later in the month. We'll see. So I am now looking through just my folder that has a whole bunch of Chamel ephemera, and these are all like things that I've cut out of varying pattern papers. And so I am going to use those two pieces the way they were, but I did want to try them this way. But no, I'm going to switch them back. And I actually liked them that way as well, with the camera and the black on the right hand side, and the piece that says "My Friend" on the left hand side. But in person, it made it look too heavy on the right hand side, because the black next to the black just made it feel more heavy. So I don't know, maybe it didn't look that way to you, but it looked that way to me in person. So I went ahead and switched it and left it with the little blue clip. That blue clip has a little star in it, so I wanted to leave that tone on tone. I did try this pink one, but the pink was just a shade off from the word "my," which is more red, and it kind of clashed, and so I decided not to use that one. And I didn't ink everything, but that black piece I did, because it had a little bit of white. It's like a white paper on the back side, and a little of that was showing, and that's the only reason I inked that one piece. Everything else is not inked. And then I am going to add a little bit of spray again at the bottom here, because I covered up all of my original spray, and that is going to take us to the end of the layout. I'm going to add all three colors. Oh, I'm sorry. There is one other thing that I am adding, and what is it? My journaling. And then I'm going to date stamp across the very bottom of that piece of paper. So that's going to take us to the end of it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I apologize for being a little bit all over the place today. Again, check out all of the links down below, and like and subscribe if you would, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks again for watching. I will see you guys next time. Here come the close-ups. Bye.